morning and welcome to A Closer Look. I'm your host, Linda Fontaine. Today, my guest is Ginger Naseri. Naseri. Help me there, Ginger. I'm so sorry if I messed that up. Naseri.
You're great.
Thank you so much. She's the Senior Vice President of Adult Services for Frontier Health. Thank you for being here, and I'm so sorry I messed up your name.
Oh, that's okay. It happens a lot. Just don't call me late for dinner.
There you go. That's what I always say. I love that. So May is Mental Health Month, and that's what we're talking about today. And you're with Frontier Health. Tell me a little bit about your services and Mental Health Month.
Great, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to share. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and serendipitously, that's also Spirit Month at Frontier Health. A little over 25 years ago, 3 small community mental health centers merged together to kind of weather the storm and have safety in numbers when some of the changes happened in our state. And that's also the month that we celebrate our Spirit Month, because we all came together, Central Appalachian Services, Watauga Behavioral Services, and Nolichucky Mental Health Services came together to become Frontier Health. And so we have a great outreach now, serving 8 counties in Northeast Tennessee and 3 counties in Southwest Virginia. We're community-based services, so we have representation in each one of those counties where we offer mental health services such as individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy. We focus on adults and children. We focus on mental health and substance use disorders. We have also in our continuum of care, we have a component of employment services where if people who have a mental health disorder are actually wanting to get out and work, we can hook them up with, we call them IPS workers, individual placement and support team members that can help people identify what they want to do and match them up with employers in the community. We have detox services through our Turning Point Center in Johnson City and recovery services to follow up with the detox, because it's more than just getting off. It's also wrapping supports around you once you get off a substance that you might be using. We offer intensive outpatient services for people hoping to recover from substance use disorders, and we have a special program for mothers or pregnant women who have substance use disorders that might want to step into recovery, and we can support them with therapy, case management, and medical services.
This sounds like it's a lot of substance abuse. Like when I'm thinking of mental health, I'm thinking of things like, depression or bipolar and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So do you do that as well?
Oh yes, so a lot of times there are folks that have co-occurring disorders, but we certainly focus a lot on mental health disorders. So we serve folks that might be suffering from adjustment disorders, and we're seeing a lot more of that lately with COVID, and people are just struggling to cope with COVID and what that means to some changes in family dynamics or work dynamics. So, so even brief mental health or behavioral health disorders are a focus for us. We also focus on those chronic disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, the ones that are a little more difficult sometimes to manage and get on the right course of care. I think one thing that I always want to emphasize is everything we do is very person-centered, so there's not one way of treating somebody. We want to partner with the person. I'm always telling folks we're not going to do things to you or for you, we're going to do things with you. So we want to partner up with folks and help them find their road to recovery and help them move forward. One exciting thing that's happening at Frontier Health right now is we were awarded a new grant that's going to help us start a program called ACT, assertive community treatment. And this will be an intensive case management program focused on folks with a mental health disorder, and they may have a co-occurring substance use disorder, but it's going to be really intense, small caseloads with a team of a therapist, a case manager, a nurse, a dedicated nurse practitioner, just spending a lot of wraparound services with the person, high intensity connections, meeting them in the community, helping them get from here to there. I think we all know our area's kind of strapped for transportation sometimes, so real excited about that. That'll be ramping up in the next month or two, so that's going to be something we're looking forward to.
I have a question. So do you find oftentimes, since you were talking about a lot of substance abuse, that people that have different disorders, so to speak, like bipolar or depression or what have you, do they often turn to substance abuse to a way to self-medicate? Do you find those two go hand in hand sometimes, or?
Sometimes they do. Again, I don't want to brush that over, but it is a high incidence of co-occurring. People don't like to be labeled, so they try other fixes, try to find ways of kind of fixing themselves, and sometimes that's through drugs and alcohol, right?
Gotcha.
So some people wonder if it's the chicken or the egg. Did the substance abuse come first and then the depression and anxiety, or is it the depression and anxiety and then the self-medication? So that's why it's really important just to look at each person as an individual.
Yes.
Look at their history, understand their family dynamics, look at any kind of history of trauma that might be happening with the person or has happened with the person, and just get to know them individually and help build a treatment plan that focuses on their desires and wants for recovery.
So is anybody eligible to receive your services? Do you have to have insurance? How does this work?
Frontier Health is so blessed. We really work hard to keep an open door and not to have to turn anybody away. We do accept insurance from all of the major insurance companies, but we also accept TennCare. We also, for folks that don't have a payer source, we have a number of grants. It's really incredible, Linda. It's really hard for us not to figure out a way to help a person get care.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's really amazing. There's a program called Behavioral Health Safety Net, and so if a person hasn't qualified for TennCare and has a limited income, we can qualify them for Safety Net, which will pay for case management services, pay for therapy services, and pay for medical services. Case management is especially important because it's meeting people in the community and it's helping them get connected to resources. So it could very well be the case manager that helps that person get into psychosocial rehab, get into employment services, or maybe qualify for TennCare.
How can people get in touch with you?
There's a variety of reasons. I would highly recommend our website. It's a very vibrant website. It has a list of all of our locations and resources there. If you don't have access to the internet, please call our main office, our corporate office in Gray, at 467-3600, and they will help guide you, a person, to care within our system.
Good. And you also have a 24-hour crisis hotline, 877-467-3719. And you have a 24-hour walk-in center located at Turning Point. And what is Turning Point exactly?
Turning Point is an amazing facility. It's centered in our whole catchment area in downtown Johnson City, just right off the interstate, kind of sandwiched between Unaka and Watauga Boulevard there in Johnson City. They offer walk-in services, so if you're feeling shaky and you don't know what to do, but you're not really quite in a crisis, or maybe you are in a crisis, you can walk into the walk-in center and they will help assess you and figure out the appropriate avenue of care. It could be that they'll help you set up some outpatient services. It could be you need to go to our crisis stabilization unit, or it could be that you need to be into an inpatient unit, and they will assess you and help facilitate that that avenue of care. You can also call that number, and triage will help guide you to those right avenues of care. Also at Turning Point, we have a detoxification center, so if someone's trying to come off drugs or alcohol, if they meet medical necessity, we can help with detox. And we have a residential program for men also in that facility, so for continuity care. Also co-occurring in that building, it's such a big, wonderful building, we have intensive outpatient services for folks. It's just a stair step of services.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, you can come in a crisis and then work through the services and then hopefully come out stronger with aftercare appointments in the outpatient world, then to support your recovery and your wellness from there.
That is awesome. So the main number for anybody who has just questions, they need to know where to go or what to do, 423-467-3600. The 24-hour crisis hotline, 877-467-3719. And you have a 24-hour walk-in center located at Turning Point, which is located at 208 East Unaka Avenue in Johnson City. And for all questions, anything people want to know, more information about what you offer, you can always go to the website at frontierhealth.org.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is that good? frontierhealth.org. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. You've been a plethora of information. I really appreciate it for Mental Health Month. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, thank you for joining us at A Closer Look, and we'll be back in just a moment with more.